Have you ever wondered, why does my dog seem perfectly happy 1 second, but the moment I reach for my keys, it's like they know I'm about to leave? Or maybe you've asked yourself, why does my dog bark, howl, destroy furniture, or even refuse to eat whenever I'm gone? Are they being stubborn, or are they genuinely terrified? If those questions have been keeping you up at night, you're not alone. Thousands of dog owners are living through exactly the same thing. They feel trapped in their own homes, constantly checking security cameras, apologizing to neighbors, replacing chewed furniture, and wondering if they'll ever be able to leave the house without feeling guilty. The good news? In many cases, this isn't bad behavior. It's separation anxiety. And the sooner you recognize the signs, the sooner you can start helping your dog feel safe when you're away. Today, I'm going to walk you through 7 clear signs your dog may have separation anxiety, explain why they happen, and share practical things you can start doing today. Let's get started. Sign 1. Your dog panics before you even leave. Most people think separation anxiety starts after they walk out the front door, but for many dogs, it starts long before that. Think about your own routine. You pick up your keys, you put on your shoes, you grab your jacket. Suddenly, your dog starts following you everywhere. They begin pacing, whining, panting, watching your every move. This happens because dogs are incredibly good at recognizing patterns. After seeing your departure routine hundreds of times, they've learned that those little actions predict something they fear, being left alone. So it's not really the keys, or the shoes, or the jacket. Those are simply signals that tell your dog, I'm about to lose my favorite person. If your dog becomes anxious before you've even opened the door, that's often one of the earliest signs of separation anxiety. Sign number 2. Excessive barking, howling, or crying. This is probably the sign most people notice first. You leave for work. 10 minutes later, your neighbor sends you a message. Your dog's been crying since you left. Or maybe you check your pet camera and discover your dog has been barking almost continuously. Many owners assume their dog is being naughty or trying to get attention, but that's rarely what's happening. A dog experiencing separation anxiety isn't throwing a tantrum. They're experiencing genuine emotional distress. Imagine a child who believes their parent isn't coming back. That's much closer to what your dog is feeling. The barking isn't manipulation, it's panic. And unfortunately, letting them cry it out usually doesn't solve the problem. In many cases, it actually strengthens the fear because every frightening experience reinforces the association that being alone is something to dread. Sign number 3. Destructive behavior that only happens when you're gone. Does your dog chew the door frame, scratch at the front door, destroy cushions, rip up blinds, chew furniture? Here's the important question. Do they only do it when you're away? If the answer is yes, that tells us something important. Dogs with separation anxiety often aren't destroying things because they're bored. They're desperately trying to reach the person they've lost. Many anxious dogs focus on doors and windows because that's where they last saw their owner. They're not thinking, this sofa looks delicious. They're thinking, how do I get back to my human? Understanding this difference completely changes how you approach the problem. Punishing your dog after you come home won't help. They aren't connecting the punishment with the destruction. All they'll understand is that their favorite person came home and now they're angry. Sign number 4. They won't eat while you're away. Here's one sign many owners completely overlook. You prepare a frozen Kong. You hide treats around the house. You buy expensive puzzle toys. You come home, and everything is exactly where you left it. Nothing has been touched. Many people think, maybe my dog just isn't interested. But in reality, refusing food can be one of the strongest indicators of severe anxiety. When an animal enters a fight or flight state, digestion becomes much less important than survival. Their body is focused on one thing, finding safety. That's why many anxious dogs won't even touch their favorite treats until their owner returns. If your dog ignores food only when they're left alone, it's worth paying close attention because that behavior often tells us this isn't simply boredom, it's fear. Quick pause before we continue. If you're recognizing your own dog in several of these signs, don't panic. The encouraging news is that separation anxiety is something many dogs can improve with the right approach, patience, and consistency. If you're finding this video helpful so far, I'd really appreciate it if you gave it a quick thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I make videos dedicated to helping dog owners understand anxiety, behavior, and practical training methods that actually make life easier for both you and your dog. Now, let's look at the remaining 3 signs, because they're often the ones that convince owners it's finally time to take action.
Sign number 5. They follow you everywhere before you leave. Have you noticed your dog suddenly becoming your shadow? You walk into the kitchen, they're behind you. You head to the bathroom, they're waiting outside the door. You stand up from the sofa, they jump up immediately. Now, some dogs simply enjoy being close to their owners. That's perfectly normal. But if your dog becomes unusually clingy right before you leave or seems unable to relax unless they know exactly where you are, it can be another sign that they're worried about being separated from you. Many owners accidentally reinforce this behavior without realizing it. Every time the dog follows them, they offer attention, reassurance, or cuddles. Again, that's completely understandable. We all love our dogs. But over time, some dogs become increasingly dependent on constant access to their owner. The goal isn't to stop your dog loving you. The goal is helping them understand that it's okay when you're not in the same room, and eventually, it's okay when you're not in the house. Sign number 6. They have accidents even though they're house-trained. This one surprises a lot of people. Your dog has been house-trained for years. They never have accidents. Then one day you come home and there's urine or sometimes even feces on the floor. Your first thought might be, they did this out of spite. But dogs don't think that way. When separation anxiety reaches a severe level, the body releases stress hormones that affect almost every system, including the bladder and digestive system. In other words, this isn't revenge. It's a physical response to overwhelming fear. If accidents only happen while you're away and your dog is perfectly clean when you're home, that's another clue pointing towards separation anxiety rather than a toilet training problem. Sign number 7. They're exhausted when you get home. Here's one of the saddest signs of all. You come home expecting your dog to have spent the afternoon relaxing. Instead, they collapse. They're completely exhausted. Why? Because many anxious dogs don't rest while their owners are away. They spend hours pacing, listening, waiting, running from room to room, watching doors and windows, remaining on high alert. Imagine being stressed for 4 straight hours without a chance to truly relax. That's mentally and physically exhausting. Ironically, many owners think, wow, my dog slept all day, when in reality, their dog may have only fallen asleep after they heard the front door open, because finally, the danger was over. A calm dog rests while you're gone. An anxious dog waits. That's a huge difference. So, what can you actually do? If your dog shows 1 or 2 of these signs, don't jump to conclusions. But if you're recognizing 4, 5, or even all 7, it's worth taking separation anxiety seriously. The biggest mistake people make is trying random solutions. A calming chew, a new toy, a different crate, a YouTube hack. The problem is, most of those things don't change the reason your dog is panicking. The real issue isn't the toy, it isn't the treat, it isn't the crate. It's the emotional association your dog has developed with being left alone. That's why behavior specialists focus on gradually teaching dogs that your departures are safe, not scary. Small, manageable steps, repeated consistently. Over time, your dog begins replacing panic with confidence. That process takes patience, but for many dogs, it can completely change their lives. If you've watched this far, chances are this video felt a little personal. Maybe you've been avoiding social events. Maybe you're constantly checking your pet camera at work. Maybe you've already spent hundreds trying products that promised miracles but didn't solve the real problem. If that's you, please know this. You're not a bad dog owner.
And your dog isn't a bad dog. They're scared, and fear can be changed when you follow the right process. If you're ready to stop guessing and want a clear, step-by-step plan that shows you exactly how to help your dog become calm when you're away, I've put together a guide called the Calm Departure Ladder. It's the same structured approach discussed throughout this video, organized into simple daily steps you can follow at home. You'll learn how to identify your dog's departure triggers, build calm absences safely, handle setbacks, and gradually teach your dog that being alone doesn't have to be frightening. If you'd like to learn more, you'll find a link in the description below. And if this video helped you understand your dog a little better, don't forget to subscribe, because every week I share practical, evidence-based tips to help you build a happier, calmer relationship with your dog. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.